Good morning. It's March 29th, and I'm glad that you're here today. I'm sorry that we can't be together in person, but I appreciate all the responsibility everybody's showing and love to one another by staying in. Um, Being thoughtful of what happens to other people is something that um, defines us as Christians and as Quakers. So it's very important that we be considerate and careful and mindful about what we're doing. So during this epidemic, it's important to stay connected to one another and call or write, text, whatever it takes. Whatever somebody wants from you, please try to just connect with them and let them know. And find in your mind the people that don't have anybody to connect with and connect with them. We have someone in our neighborhood who is important to us that we connect with because he doesn't have family or friends, and this just hit. So there wasn't a way to make that happen before. Just those kinds of things, check in on one another. We can keep our congregation alive and spirited during this time and be a source of support and encouragement to one another. Church is never just going to church on Sunday. Church is about how we encourage and lift each other up. And so during this time, it's really important to keep encouraging and keep lifting each other up, keep calling each other, keep talking to each other, keep making sure everyone has what they need. You can give me a call at 513-593-8300 if you need a prayer partner or someone to help you move through this situation or help you to see the good in it. If you're not seeing the good in it, then it's important that you reach out. Even if you don't feel like reaching out, you can reach out and we can all stay connected to one another. And we do that because we're not here to judge one another. We're here to give each other grace. And so that's our Sunday morning song that we're going to sing today. I'm going to put the words up to the first three verses of Amazing Grace, and Joe is going to lead us in it. So please sing along where you are. I know it might feel a little silly, but this is how we can do it for a while. And Joe, would you like to start us off?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home.
And that's what we're going to talk about today is grace and how we apply that to this situation. In Matthew, we get a Christian perspective of what it means to not be judgmental on one another, not say, oh, this is happening because of you, or this is punishment for my behavior, or this is a negative, because when you do that, you have to actually say, this person is in the wrong and they're an enemy and maybe I don't love them as much. And Matthew 5:43 through 48 tells us that we don't just love our neighbor and hate our enemies, but we're supposed to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us. So today we really need to be thinking about if this pandemic has any edge to it that shows us as not being considerate or careful or responsible. Rather than focusing on other people and blaming them, we have to make the best of it where we are. Because this verses go on to say that that God does send the rain on the just and the unjust. But what does that mean? It's a little cartoon. It says it rains on the just and the unjust, and you sort of have to think about who's what. And the fact is, we're all a mixture of sin and saint. We're not all one or the other. So someone wrote a poem about this. Her name is Marcia Shaw O'Neill, and she said, 2 men sitting in the rain, one is a sinner and one is a saint. 2 women working side by side, one lives for Jesus while the other one hides. 2 stubborn mules that won't move or budge, the farmer is the owner, but God is the judge. We all fall down sometimes, we all make mistakes. The thing is, we need to give each other an humble break or grace. You never know when the table turns and you'll be on the other side and have to make decisions hard and difficult. Choose love, not hate. Choose forgiveness, not revenge. Choose life, not death. Choose peace, not war. So when you're standing in the rain, whether sinner or saint, you both get wet. So you need to bring an umbrella and share it together. I like that image of no matter whether you're just or unjust, or this is some way that is seen as a punishment from God, it doesn't matter, because we're here to care for and love one another and take care of one another. But we have these things that happen to us that tell us that God does punish. It's all in, excuse me, throughout the Bible. And I hear people say, God doesn't punish. God is love. But you ever raised a child, you know you've had to punish a child. So there's stories of punishment in the Bible, including the Noah's Ark, the first Passover, which this week is the celebration of Passover for those who are Jewish, and it marks a time when supposedly God punished the Egyptians. We have Sodom and Gomorrah, but we also have in the Hebrews 12:4 through 11, sort of a focus on how this happens with us as Christians. And you can take your time and completely read through this. But the idea is, how are we using what's going on to make us better children of God? If this is a punishment, rather than being angry or being upset or being bitter about things, we can accept it as a time for discipline. Not discipline as a punishment, but discipline so that we learn from it, so that we become better because of it. There's a saying, become better, not bitter, in times of tragedy or in times of stress or in times like this pandemic. Rather than being better, we could choose to be very ugly and not love one another, or we can choose to be better people that is caring about others and showing other people love and grace and giving as much humility to the situation as we can. That we're not here to be pompous and tell people they're wrong or they're bad. That we're here to tell people that there is love and there's goodness all around. Josh Shipp, who is a trainer, says you either get bitter or you get better. And it's that simple. You either take what has been dealt to you and allow it to make you a better person, or you allow it to tear you down. The choice does not belong to fate. It belongs to you. So whatever is challenging for you right now, I hope you find a way for it to make you better. If you need someone to pray with about this so that you can move and shift into a new way in your life, please allow God's love to pour through your spirit and help you to refocus on what's good and kind. And one way we can do this is to say, how does this help us develop one of the fruit of the Spirit? One of the aspects of God? How does it make us more loving or more joyful, more peaceful? That it makes us want to persevere, show forbearance, our kindness and goodness. How does it make us more gentle or faithful and show self-control? Those are the fruit of the Spirit. How can we bring an aspect of that? Just choose one a week if you want to until this thing's over. And this can make us much better people. The other is, how does it make us more loving? And we look at 1 Corinthians 13 of how will it make us more patient? How will it make us more kind? How does it help us to be more humble so that we don't envy or we don't boast or we aren't proud? How do we keep from dishonoring another person and show respect for all people, no matter what they've done or where they are? How do we be gentle with people and not show anger? Not that anger is wrong, but if we're angry and just out looking for someone to spread it to, that's not good. So the idea is, how can it make us a more loving and gentle person? Someone who doesn't keep a record of wrongs. Someone who doesn't go, aha, I told you so. Doesn't keep a record of evil. Doesn't say, oh, that's what this person's done 3,000 times. It looks to protect and trust and hope and persevere, because God's love never fails. I hope this week you have a beautiful week. It looks like the weather's going to be really pretty. And I hope you reach out to one another and ask, as you go through these challenging times, how can this make us better? For God, for each other, for ourselves, for this world. Please stay safe. Please pray for one another. Thank you.